John McMullen from Michigan, and this is my 1910 Mitchell, which was built in Racine, Wisconsin. I'd like to show you around. Okay, this is a 6-cylinder, they call it an S model, built in 1910. It is 50 horsepower plus, and it has a 4.5, 5-stroke. It's a very powerful car. It served me very well. We have the overhead lifters, which require oiling every about, let's say 100 miles. You should oil the lifters. This is a water system that runs through the cooling system of the car. Of course, your manifold exhaust. This is the cooling system I was saying, tell you. This is the oiler. They call it an oiler. You fill it, keep this filled with oil, and your drippers drip. Follow these lines. They drip onto your main and your rod bearings, and that's how it gets its lubrication. After about 100 miles, you have to stop and drain off the excess oil because it keeps using the oil out of the oiler and into the crankcase, and you have to keep it level in the crankcase. And notice if you saw the front of the car that has headlights, they're all gas lights, including the gas lights here. This is kerosene, and has the wick, of course, and to keep it full of kerosene. Dial your wick up just like they did back in the old lanterns. This spotlight is quite unique. There wasn't too many of these available, but they were a very expensive accessory. But they work also on gas, and the gas cylinder is here and one on the other side, and it's a dripper. It drips onto carbide. It's called carbide gas. Runs through the line and lights the lights. The vehicle is equipped with 3 horns. One we call for city, which is the valve horn. Then we have the klaxon horn, which is the klaxon horn right here, which was country driving. Then we have one that I installed myself, which I call a country. Scare people, make them think there's a train coming. I'd like to talk about the car a little bit. This automobile, being a 1910, was built back in the era of a lot of wood workmanship with wood and metal skin over wood. This is a very expensive car for its day. It ranged around the $4,000 range. And if you notice the woodwork on the car and the metal, this is aluminum over wood. And the paint, of course, back in those days was painted by hand, but we do a much better job today. But nevertheless, it's the color. If you wanted a red, you get a red. If you want a different color, all you have to do is tell them what color you want it. Okay, now you'll notice that the car has wood wheels, but they're a heavy wood wheel because the car is very heavy. It's over 4,000 pounds. Inside the wheel in the front, you'll notice that there's a speedometer gear, which runs the speedometer on the dashboard, strictly a cable. There's no brakes in the front, but the brakes are all on the rear. And if you'll notice other cars that are here, that the brake on this Mitchell, because of its weight, is much bigger than the average car. The emergency brake, of course, is located here on the side. And when you drive at the speeds we drive today, you make sure that you're conscious that you have the emergency brake available. Because back in the olden days, 15, 20 mile an hour was a high speed because they did not have the roads back in the days when they were driving these automobiles. This is the brake drum, as you can see. It's a pretty good sized brake, but you still have to be careful driving.